How many times have you said, yeah, fine, yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with me, but inside you're pissed off, or you're resentful, or you're agitated, or you're frustrated, you've got a whole heap going on, but on the outside it's no, I'm good. I can tell you it's more common than you can ever imagine that you hold things inside because you don't want to share this, often with your intimate partner. So I suppose the question I want to ask you is, what is this causing you? What sort of internal pain do you go through by keeping this all inside, by suppressing your emotions, by shutting them all down? Do you recognize when you are emotionally triggered? Do you recognize, that inner anger, or that inner resentfulness, or when you sort of slop down into deep, deep sadness? Are you able to name your emotions? Are you able to go inside and connect with that head and body connection? If you're unsure, or if you've answered, well, actually, I don't name any of my emotions, and I do go to suppression, welcome. Because what I hope to shed a little bit of light on is that the first place to start is awareness, is having an awareness. Like, I'll never remember, I was in my early 30s, and I remember sitting in the counsellor's room. It was the first really formal counselling. Look, I dabbled in it, and I ran away scuttling because I couldn't stand it, and I felt seen. I didn't want anybody to see me. And I remember sitting in her office here in Brisbane. So, Helen, how do you feel? What? What do you mean? I couldn't articulate what I felt. I had really no comprehension. I lived in the head up. I was not able to name my emotions. I was very suppressed. I was shut down. And I was seeing her because I was being triggered quite regularly. And it was shit. I used to call it my comfy couch. I'd sort of just drop into this oozy black place, and I'd sit there and I'd stay, sometimes for some time. And it's interesting, recently I was speaking to one of my sons. I've got 3 adult sons. And without, I suppose, saying too much, he recognised when I went to these places. You think that nobody knows. Yeah, I'm fine. The people closest to you do know. The people closest to you can feel it, that you've left, that you've shut down, that you've gone. And so if you're listening to this and you do realise that you suppress your emotions, you aren't able to name your emotions, well, first of all, instead of perhaps attacking yourself or blaming yourself, because that's what I used to do, I was extremely judgmental, is are you able to bring in some curiosity? Why do you think you do this? Why do you think that you aren't able to name your emotions or express your emotions? I don't think we have to go too far, do we, to work that out. Let's take a little bit of a step back into perhaps childhood. Were you freely able to express what was going on for you? Of course you weren't. Unless you were raised by very enlightened parents who loved you unconditionally, and you learned from a very young age that you could be all you and you could be authentic, and that there was no repercussions of you being all of you. Look, most people, actually it's very generalised, isn't it? A lot of people were not raised like that. So you learnt to just park your emotions down, to suppress them. And look, this may keep working for you. It may. But you know what? Working as a marriage therapist and as a coach for over 17 years now, I have learned, particularly in long-term relationships, that doing that ho-hum surface type conversation doesn't cut it. If you want to stay in a long-term relationship, you have to be able to have those deep, meaningful conversations with yourself and with your partner. Otherwise, you end up like the people in my room who are, some of them, they're flatmates. They've already split. They've already energetically, emotionally left, perhaps years ago. So if you want to get to a place where you're perhaps more connected with your partner, that's often the driving force for people, is they want to be more connected with their partner. Well, hey, you've got to be more connected with yourself. And that's where I began exploring and looking at myself, and I started working with a counsellor and realised that I had buried so much down. So the first thing is to be able to name your feelings. So the next time that you're feeling a little bit off and you want to turn to the bottle, or, have some pop or watch some porn, or just overwork and do more hours to shut it all down, perhaps sit. Take a few deep, slow breaths, get into the body and name, okay, what's here? Actually name what you're feeling. And if you can go further, where in your body do you feel it? So you may know lots of angry people in your world. And look, anger is a terrific emotion because it's passion for yourself, but it's what you do with that emotion. Sometimes people just stay stuck on anger. Imagine a fruitcake. We've got Christmas coming up, so you might be able to imagine a fruitcake, and there's icing on the fruitcake. If you're a visual person, this will work for you. And that icing, that's anger. And inside the fruitcake, all the nuts and almonds and cherries, that's filled with, what could be in there? Resentment, guilt, sadness, shame, guilt. I've already said guilt, haven't I? But you're getting it. Now, none of this is wrong or right. They are emotions. But we have to name them. We have to release them. And there are many different ways of being able to release it, which I'm not going to go into now. But a really great place to start is to be able to name the emotion so that you can get to a place that when someone says, how are you going? You can go, I'm fine. And you friggin' are. You're not friggin' lying. You are fine. And you know what? If you're not, you can begin, I call it attending to yourself. As humans, and I know for myself, I had very little self-compassion. In fact, I didn't even really know what that was. I found it very, very hard to show compassion, kindness and softness, because I hadn't received that growing up. It was such a foreign concept to be able to show that to other people, but also to show that to myself. So I think one of the most crucial skills in bringing in inner wealth, and inner wealth is that passion, that power, that inner purpose, is self-compassion and bringing in softness and that awareness with yourself. And it begins with awareness, and it begins with naming your emotions, because from there, once you've been able to name them, over time you will allow them to visit. You'll investigate, okay, where's this coming from? Is it sort of more present day, or is it tapping in things from a little way back? But ultimately, the biggest, most crucial ingredient is love. Being able to nurture that part of yourself. And look, if any of this is speaking to you, I've got a book that is launching in the new year. You can pre-order now. It's called Inner Wealth. You'll see it in the show notes. But this inner wealth is all about this inner world. You know, we're so driven to get rich on the outside, but I do very much believe being able to get rich on the inside is the absolute crucial ingredient. And, you know, I wrote this book, and we'll quickly just tap in and tap out. I wrote this book from a place where this book is going to create conversations around suicide, around mental health, about staying in a freaking relationship when it's well finished, and you're terribly unhappy, but you're not sure how to exit. And that's what this book is about, and that is why I wrote it. So if it's speaking to you, tap in, buy the Kindle. You'll get that on the 3rd of January, 2025. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you, and just bring in that awareness, begin naming what you're feeling, and begin to watch your inner world and feel how different it feels in your body, because, you know, getting rich on the inside is an amazing thing. See you.